big susu di bibeba. Enti wudi ani yese obe join you Facebook, Lawson TV on Facebook. O like page no be share. Na team bi a supporting transfer bi a person hu bia no. Yetimi e de amount. Ken mame sha asem fem free story ba kwa ye. Eye Benjamin Sesko insensem no. Eye no kre up to date. Manchester United for a slow nioma. Between Manchester and Newcastle. Team a wetimi de bid akoma Leipzig Newcastle bobuku no. Manchester United bobuku no emfa bid enkoye. Manchester any pro transfer akasa. Manchester any Benjamin Sesko akasa. Omo nyina no omo twen say Manchester United the official bid ebeko. Manchester communicate ache Leipzig for ne say omo nya abotre kakra mfa omo Manchester United. Na afi na Manchester for omo gada eye omo first official bid. Na omo prepare bid no e dia bre Leipzig kimpanyin for. Na omo hwe nkrata mu. Enti Leipzig for enya abotre emfa Manchester United. So communication e free Manchester United e call Leipzig kon ye say munya abotre kakra man na afi ne ye boaboa ye nkrata no. Any documents ano, any proposal ni e dia bre na matimi atwem. So Manchester amfa bid enkoy. The only club between Manchester and Newcastle the official bid akoma Leipzig no Newcastle. And umpokra no Leipzig for say omunso. Newcastle for bid no de coin na 75 million euros. Ana add-ons near 5 na akwa 80 million euros. Leipzig for says kanusa. No mo beji any offer umpokra na. Beji 80 million euros say face amount. Na 5 million no aye add-ons na akwa 85 million euros. Ana mo kwa je. And no, and a Newcastle for no ehun second. Benjamin Sesko no or a bad boy. Or per se o slow mo Newcastle for down. No match Manchester for bid no.
Na United the quarter pay.
United for the Oma catch Leipzig for so munya bo check akra mo mafi no mo de eboabo mo no no de aba.
Okay.
And Newcastle for no ama Benjamin Sesko ni pro transfer 24 hours. So mo fa decision in Brabonte.
Copy mo chira.
Yes. Because Oma when say Oma catch Newcastle for so munya abotre. Ana Newcastle for nenya hint say Benjamin Sesko ne pese munya abotre na omo twen delay omo kakra twen Manchester for de no mo de beko no. Because they say Manchester for ni ready to bid the same amount as Newcastle for the koye. Enti Newcastle for na catch pro transfer for no. Ana Benjamin Sesko say omo 24 hours. Omo mo obi anti ase say ope Manchester onka so ope Manchester. So pe Newcastle no onka no njai se munya abotre mo ntwen kakra munya abotre no no mo nya nkra sa emreko enti mama Newcastle ama Benjamin Sesko 24 hours so on funny decision embra okay. Manchester for so pa cho e wo Leipzig say yesre ma munya abotre kakra ma enti ye twen de ba akosie Leipzig kona no omo so aton kra koma Chelsea for say mabasem ope Xavi Simons emra ne so ko say ye beton Xavi Simons amamwa yeso so ye be hia replacement enti Chelsea for mon ka mo ho na mon fa musika mbra because yeso so any Liverpool for kasa ye kwa kofa Harvey Elliott abaye Xavi Simons replacement enti say omo Leipzig for no betimenya Harvey Elliott every Liverpool no ababa be Xavi Simons a replacement I just say Chelsea for aba be tuo musika for Xavi Simons no matter says kan mu bi e de akoma Liverpool akwa Harvey Elliott enti Chelsea for mon ka mo ho na mon jai go slow na mo yen because Liverpool for so my pressure
na ma Chelsea twentwen Simons de no so
on pese bo ne ba form kakra
okay
enti omo so ato Chelsea for nkra se omo pe omo ni Liverpool akoka Harvey Elliott wonkomo Liverpool twen agiska ana omo so twen age
omo de Chelsea sika no and you kofa Harvey Elliott
ababe replacement
enti omo so ato nyanko ya Harvey Elliott
so akwa ye problem o na unse so humi di okọ we free obe free space bobuku nim na Daniel Levy a communicate actually papa friend said Thomas Frank say obema no a good replacement na unse already Rodrigo dia wa communicate actually Real Madrid for so obetena Brazil Real Madrid for a player Rodrigo wa communicate actually Real Madrid for say obetena na Daniel Levy a promise Thomas Frank say emfa hu say Rodrigo say obetena Real Madrid bobuku nim no ono abe lead sa negotiation e lead deal no se so you mean e kwa e wose omunya a player ni mu eduo oye proving player omode ne ba Spurs supporters na ni beje enti ono Daniel Levy na nkasa e de isi ne na so akwakohia Real Madrid Florentino Perez se ope eye Rodrigo ono ana obeye Son Heung-min replacement a o ma promise Rodrigo mpokra £180,000 a week. 180,000 pounds a week. And Daniel Levy see on no lead negotiation no for Rodrigo no be Son Heung-min replacement. Now on say Liverpool
say Oko on be star boy.
Na just say star boy ni dia ba be yo no ah.
Wa be kudu se free.
Wa ba be kudu se free. Say Rodrigo die baby o no o soro say kudu.
Yeah.
On say Saturday na ni e ka say Hilal for the official bid akwa koma Liverpool for Darwin Nunez. Liverpool the on person turn Darwin Nunez because of Isaac. Say Isaac be be ninti no. See my friend say Hilal di omo bid e call 70 million euros ne call ye no. On say AC Milan for so any Liverpool for din come for Darwin Nunez. AC Milan for so di omo ho agim. Na menim vime kra AC Milan. Mo amu niska so mo players ane bo eden. Enti AC Milan for so di Liverpool twetwe komo. Na keno nim say two teams no be enu ha wetimi ne Darwin Nunez akasa. Agree deal. Darwin Nunez deal no ye say e Liverpool na team tene ne omo kasa. Boy na nkasa obi an ni agree. AC ni agree. Hilal ni omo agree. By Hilal for na your margin say Liverpool for je omo bid ni etuma ansa na omo Darwin Nunez ene ni representatives akwa AC Milan for so person ni Liverpool wie ansa na omo Darwin Nunez akwa by assistance now AC Milan Hilal obi enu a wetimi agree with Darwin Nunez. The only team on Darwin Nunez agree ye no was Napoli. By Napoli so entimi Liverpool for enwie na Isaac de no ena no pay Isaac edi 3 hours ewo Newcastle omo training ground so odi 3 hours me no ka say ni legal team ana ne representatives ewo England really as o communicate ye no ni legal team ababa bedru omo free Sweden ababa bedru ni representatives ababa bedru meeting ne bekoso se still na no Newcastle for ntiase ho ana transfer request ni bebom enti transfer request e ba ni nyina no e ka ho bi normal ni legal team no ne lawyers no ababa piem ewo England enti ye twen the meeting ba kwesi on say Liverpool for say omo ogidie say e kire so pass a latest by 14th August die e wo so omo nsa e ka e ya brand e friend say e ye Isaac na Thomas Partey die ni say obi anim say Partey ene VAR die ne die e okwa sign to 2027 wakoye ne medical team na VAR for coach Marcelino Garcia Tora and pushy for the deal. Marcelino ekache VAR penny for say on say new season on bebo UEFA Champions League or pese onya quality and experienced players e won finfin already or Dani Parejo or Denis Suarez or Papi Gay into osenya Partey eka ho a ono Marcelino Garcia Tora na ebeboa no na ken onim DSC section of VAR for supporters protest can't anka de bema me a arehosem ana ye nua Thomas Partey FM na section of VAR for supporters ne say enam 5 rape and sexual assault ayede abo Thomas Partey no section of VAR for fans ne say omo ntiase enti protest na ekoso so say o ye VAR supporter na ompene Thomas Partey de ne so a omama baby a odu protest ne beko fans mailbox no akoka wa adwen dia akwa mpanyimfo no the reason why ni say Thomas Partey join a VAR obobuku no enti bi ne dia to Facebook
the fans mailbox ne
fans mailbox enti
na omokotwotwo nsemu no
say no what the reason why ni say Partey join a VAR team no
but the one catch say Sunday mo we mentiase ade na ye charge obi a na ye wie ni say case na ade ana say
ye buanefo
di ntia
ahun say omo ni say bad
charge no o charge no afa no oba be court
sure
okọ court a ye be kokodi asem no but asem no ye nya ni ye kura no
untimi conclude
but obo so no mo ina
conclude sa na akwa areho sempa e ba
enti we ya Villarreal for na asase omo ye other clubs no every single ground should be a party be ko Spain bia obehuru no
even VAR for na nkasa
na mo amode ne ba no kura no ma start we ya other clubs no ba bi obekọ bia
obehuru no enti a serious protest na ekoso of VAR no ha adwen
but Saudi and the answer ya ha adwen wo we are CCC say asem sini nya charge wa na eno ano
na ye clear din ni mpokra say umpokra no say de ye de tools na nya sa na ti ase no kra na di na say Benjamin Mendy
bad
bad nti VAR ko ken nti supporters ne say protest ne ekoso ye nua Thomas Partey after say yes so akoye ne medicals no na on say Real Madrid center back Rudiger ne contract be 2026 wedi 32 years na Madrid for a pen a long term replacement na only player is say Real Madrid for asase edi nkomo Oscar na say opon Oscar na say opon yes
na say na person o replace Rudiger or Madrid
or a long term replacement for Antonio Rudiger Oscar na say opon
na say no
osi akan wo Granada on say Accra Norte obo Emmanuel City Football Academy wa Accra anodi kopie mu Spain Real Madrid for who is Accra we or just 20 years but he 6'1" and the ball no be a very combative to say Rudiger into mu ni say Oscar na say opon a long term replacement ama Juni Calafat any best of you agency twetwem komo enti they say the Oscar na say opon the eba no na PSG ni Juventus ni Kolo Muani de no ken PSG for say no ombeji loan ni kura atuma ebeye loan na obligation to buy no Juventus abi to 50 million euros and na Juventus for say Kolo Muani de ne bo no wosoro enti anka loan fee no ombetua 10 to 50 million euros na obligation to buy no akwa 30 million euros Brentford abera as na so mo Petrozad Brentford abera as na say omo Petrozad na no Saturday and am de betu anim say Trozad ne Martinelli transfer committee wo Arsenal on person mo ton baako ama Teta de waka say Trozad nie Martinelli nie baako ntina ono coach ne pe Martinelli Brentford for aberem say omo Petrozad Bayern for say Kim Min-jae teams na ba so omo pe no by the salary ni teams ne ba na omoko oje 12 million euros a year teams ne se ni sika no e wo soro na Bayern for hu say Upamecano PSG for na tata no omo center back Upamecano Bayern for ni si PSG for na tata omo enti Bayern for decide say Upamecano omo be ma ne contract extension to 2030 Upamecano contract ewu 2026 Bayern for ni say omo be ma Upamecano contract to 2030 na Barcelona Hansi Flick a communicate ya tre Gerard Martin say obetna
and am I impressed by
yes Gerard Martin
or cross the ball better
enye easy okay omuni Inter
and no be na no ye
coach na communicate ya tre Gerard Martin so obetna on say na Barcelona epe Alex Grimaldo every Leverkusen enti o maka chen say Gerard Martin ebetna na Ademola Lookman de no waka Inter for ne side Ademola Lookman under roof agency so say year ago Atlanta for ne promise say Otnana team be the 35 to 40 million euros ba on budget
the one can cry
you hu the can cry enti dia akwa akosie no na Manchester United for decided so beton Mason Mount yes Ruben Amorim and the 9 so say abrante ne friend say Mason Mount no onimbo na ankasa ebo na mede wie no kra no mahu say omre ne ko Ronald Araujo o say Barcelona fans no watete yebeton me and they say ba say chire ho no e Pau Kubasi ni Indigo Martinez no Ronald Araujo no afi we ayasim no season we afi na Barca for be who the best version of Ronald Araujo
you say between Kubasi ne Indigo ho do betu no
say the Kubasi ne Araujo Indigo Martinez na first pair
because say one no betimi atu omo mienu no one no betimi yin afrim
say the na say yakwa to say Indigo Martinez so form na no edi
I say Inigo no dey is a center back on there
on is so number 1 and you say oyire no na Pau Kubasi bi but say season we o kase Nyankopon ani monyam inshallah ono Ronald Araujo Ronald Araujo ye be mu the best version
okay Ederson
Kemi na say na asam ne de kwame Daegu no boy ni nti na we nya fem e kasa Daegu de
Daegu for me say na yi the born in Musa player na ya ade na Daegu for na
South Korea league no omo 12 teams the worry or that for Daegu for
e was South Korea almost na say was South Korea
omo about 24 games so we win 3 omo about draw 5 oh yes but I'm just giving out information say omo about 24 games when we need 3 about draw 5 and then kind of 16 losses omo lose bet 12 games
the Madrid for
bet 12 games no mo win game
Daegu for
obi a sha wo to na wonim Daegu for na de tie ne say Daegu community no omo governor dia nti omo ska mba chonti ase omo ska e no mato nsa de afresenka team e ya de o South Korea nke ye mfre omo na awe e wo omo lake nti
omo na ba sa show omo 5 no
ai
team awawe wo Korea
omo no bet 12 games omo win game omo tese wo to obi a show omo wo to sa but that is not the point. The point is that Barcelona for ehwe kwan obafa so abo mo bo throughout the 90 minutes ko for 9 ka ball 2 pair Barca penalty box no. Oh no man be nti ba won say a drew game be say a training game and until na first half for side the entire team. I mean e just nyema wo dey train me say Gerard Martin na waman abas center back but Alejandro Balde na waye invented kakra no aba be share midfield a normal game and coach no on try sir and the coach no try nema bebre and ma sa Gerard Martin e overlap from the center back wo e koye sa cross no that boy onimrika tuo te say Alejandro Balde ontimi mbo sa left back na enkane na hodi aba mo boni bi onye sa na mom ni attributes a onim ye ne se na 90 mi ball into a cross here a ye pa but say osia good winger pa when we obe hano onye sa type of natural fullback no be kwa ba debi onye sa but the attribute onim ye no onim ye pa say ye crossable ani de onim ye
I just say the ball about Lewandowski
well in terms of
Rafinha so run a cobos no
say you know Sebasa Asia team be dominate pa no a Gerard Martin can play, but difficult games there it might be serious there. You don't want to try him. But see one thing now, throughout the games so far, about Vessel Kobe or Shomo 3-1, or Soul or Shomo 7-3, and then they watch 5 into like 15 goals and watch and we concede 4
in 3 matches.
In 3 games, 15 and we concede 4. But the 4 no crowd we concede, you know, and then one concede goal that is positive. Name one thing now you clearly observe about this Barcelona team the second say in terms of tight spaces none of the Barcelona players in the name tight spaces control it to say Dani Olmo Ken Dani Olmo ni die o ma nipa 3-4 ejina ni nchanya the way this guy takes the ball and get the ball into space for the player for first one befano it's beautiful anyway Daegu de enye kasatin team bia but yebehwe against Komuni ahwede betimi akọ Ken member transfers anymore na let's also divert kakrani enhwe clubs no empempi some de third jerseys eba third jerseys no etwamfoni ekire bebi a club ni free na normally introduce jerseys na they want to educate us on a lot of things but empempi no yeah, I drink one and so I nim. Na and I mean that's almost Arsenal for release or would take Jesse Ediaba. Na debia me catch us say club will be ninchi any baby or free. The last time I was telling you so Manchester United, Lancaster and Yorkshire for more railway department and a nipano and I didn't say Yankwati Boku and HDB Manchester United. The same way I was telling you the last time say Manchester City. Now sorry Saint Mark Church Saint Mark Church say Yantia sorry na fe nipano mu bia one Manchester wa mudi se no yan for football and show momba asori mu no and ne adani aba Manchester City. I to say Tottenham Hotspur na nkwada school children bia no more St John's Grammar School and in name what say Tottenham Hotspur Arsenal Football Club. Give me the JC and let me tell you something again. Kent, take me back to 139 years ago. Ken, yanko na fe mamno nkobo nkomo kakra na afi yantwe nyina adwen kosi ade so kakra. This is 139 years ago. 1886. Osha screens no so a nipa na omonwan machines ahodo. Samre no na akoako ewo wiase Arsenal. Denti Arsenal ba ye nani Jason me be kire ade kakra wo. England anase UK kro no won nyina no baby a omo kwa ako a omo ye omo tuo eye omo machines awodo e de kwa ako no eho no eye baby na Arsenal asifri na eho ye Royal Arsenal eho nie na me de aba ewo wo hwe wo screens no. So this is 1886 ewiase atwam ko inti nipa no a ɛyɛ saa etuo machines yɛ nneɛma UK for the kwa akono ɛyɛ saa nkɔfo na department baako yɛfɛ no Dial Square Workshop ɛna boys ni bi sɛ nie saa deɛ yɛn bob yɛyɛ adwuma ni wie a yɛtete wa yɛ nya hwee let's form a football club ɛna ɔmo to no Royal in fact initially na ɔmo department na ɔmo de to so Dial Square Workshop Football Club ɛna ni nemu na ɛbɛyɛ Royal Arsenalism sɛ saa company na nkasa no ɛhɔ ɛna UK kɔ ako a ɔmo kɔgye etuo ni ade again this is why Arsenal are called the Gunners. I'll come back to these things because ɛhɔ ɛna UK nyina ɔmo kɔgye ɔmo etuo the last time I was telling you say ɔmo kɔ ko no wie a nipa no soldiers fo no ɔmo kɔ na ɔmo kɔdi ako no ɔmo san so ba ɔmo yɛ nkokora na yɛ de ɔmo kɔ baby a Chelsea went in na Chelsea from pensioners no inti was Arsenal fo no ɛyɛ etuo ni Chelsea fo no soldiers fo no kɔ ako ba no makɔ nti na Chelsea for former pensioners e were links kakra but the Arsenal one no for company name for picture of the company mam na for yen hwade department no moti Arsenal lanka free ni e friend Dial Square department today and ne kra na ne wo no picture ni nie we 1886 na fa enne de ne mame into one thing clearly you will see from the picture clock no na enne Arsenal for unveiling of the Jesse no phenomena meso na menchero again omo unveil using the clock into when we say clock that we feel say a normal picture it is not. Arsenal are going back and telling you say now we are taking this Jesse back to where we belong to. Two, the hybrid conversation. Ken, the last time I make catch you say Arsenal Lanka so move in North London no. Baby Arsenal fi Woolwich I was South London. Na emrebi ka Arsenal ye gunu na papa efan Sir Henry Norris abeji boboko Sir Henry Norris on na Fulham eye ne dia remember I will have time to explain this papa no escapa on na Fulham ye ne dia if you do remember my better history be catch say Chelsea so nka omo de ko bo Fulham mu since that time na Fulham ye strong inti papa ne be so Arsenal mu no against all combining Arsenal and Fulham and the clubs ni kwati si mu unim clubs som ka so mo mpene Chelsea Tottenham and na papa say okay omo ntia ase dia wakonya asase e wo North London to oyi club ni dey fi South London e dey akọ North baby at Chelsea and the Tottenham we also so Chelsea Tottenham wrote selected to the Football Association say yen ntia ase ne ntia ase china because to Arsenal en free North London and na papa ne say o skandidi mu a they took Arsenal there inti Arsenal ankasa ni chief in North London ni chi Woolwich South London but eniadin papa ni sika o eno de ni nemu abebie nti ehon okoto hybrid eno mama Sir Archibald and again I'll have time to explain this Ken Archibald no papa on that television is ken hwe nie pa onu na see Stamford Bridge papa yi onu na see Old Trafford onu na see Goodison Park onu na see Anfield Stadium sanke sia ni nyina we England ni nyina Sir Archibald we ene see inti when Arsenal sikeni say Henry Beji club no the club no call from Woolwich to Highbury also basic stadium no and odema Archibald and Archibald see ya between 1913 to 2006 93 years you see it now say every season now it will be the 20th year Arsenal every Highbury eba say omo current stadium inti the picture and I said the jersey you are going to wear. If you're an Arsenal fan, first of all, Arsenal are taking you back to where they belong. I'm afraid the Gunners because I want to tour any idea England for the corner no one to move free too. Yes, almost so catch us says our season way ended the last season on the free hybrid. Into two things. First of all, Arsenal are taking you back to those hybrid days, and they are taking you back to when Arsenal were created. Let us be okay. Ademola Lookman. Ni situation no o me yenhwe ne ye afa ne afa Napoli hwe kwan am fa so treat Usman na hwe kwan a Ademola Lookman Atlanta for ne so a treat omo but you see ade ne ye kase ye hwe nko from the player side that will not be fair to Atlanta. Last year Ademola Lookman the 14th our Ballon d'Or show 14th now was Rochen Saka, was Rochen Kopama, was Rochen Nico Williams. Last year, African best Ademola Lookman. Ademola only 32 or 27 years. See, a 27-year-old player, 14th on the Ballon d'Or, African best. Say Atlanta cassette, you have 50 million euros. Number 5. What cabone? With this current market, this is the first question I want to ask. Because at the end, we need to look at from both sides. You can see Ademola Lookman and some into we are all giving in favor of him, and maybe we might not be right. Into maybe say with this current market here, say who go eketeke obi aton 95 million euros. Now Ademola Lookman are African best. When you're 14th on the Ballon d'Or list, no, because for 50 million, I mean, come on. I think it is a fair market, and it is Inter Milan, if in fact, say Inter Milan ending the role Ademola be play part the importance of Ademola Lookman. Why is it that they are refusing to add only 5 million to their initial bid of 45 million at the Intra? And I want to ask questions before we come to the whole issue itself. Because Inter Milan ending the role of Ademola Lookman. What the 5 million, I can 45 million you want. Can you bonio? Now, and they should not drag you to the stand. They say, boy, no, add a transfer request to go. I am not too happy how this thing is dragging because last year, time a PhD for buy only 20 million buyer. Atlanta for some one, you know. Atlanta for say, no, budget 45 million as at last year. Now, so budget 45 million last year. This year, we are 50 million. Why you born here now? I understand the arguments like, oh, the Italian clubs are not treating Africans right. Yes, sound common as a kakra. But choke, African best, 14th on the Ballon d'Or. Ademola Lookman, who is not 30 years, he's just 27 years in this current market. Ken, your boss Obiantobo. Inter Milan should pay. No more respect to Atlanta for no. Now Ramos Hoylon, Nkofue Krobutu ya saying. And you're the same club.
Rasmus Hoyland.
Now Ahmad Traore rekrana na or your small boy. I think they pay almost 40 million euros. Now Obi Ademola o chipping. I'm telling you, on one way chipping one to distance. Come on, now Ahmad Diallo crowd those days, you know, which almost 40 million. Ramos Hoylon over 60 million. Now we African best.
You can take 95
million euros. Oh, you now you're African, but we're chipping who too much. Come on. What was it?
Or more master son of cry at home.
Yeah, need the Granny High Margin.
Could you say 60?
55. Okay, Euros,
60. And Ademola Lookman 45. 50.
African best too. What's that?
African best.
And now Musa word no fan review. I said bakery.
Biggie. Biggie Brian the others the Diabano and some no one we are one be Kokutiobi. And
na minim adekonti akwaku kana asema
because answer mo hono mo nsoma to bi mu a nyame no kwani na ha adwen
oh na de no okay
yidi matoto
na Holland de yakra na season na eto no wa she 9 goals
but so no Champions League she goals be brave
of course Champions League on na United top scorer last season Europa on na I think second top scorer Europa in for Manchester United
for Europe. European competition
domestic trophies no
they say among qualify for Europe no bedding
and Holland can maybe and say domestic competitions no and then I the body qualify for Europe it is a one team anya fie ni ya e den wa qualify for Europe akwa kire de obetimi aye no
afi de obenya goals I want some create chances pa
kenam and no mean opportunity share Manchester United game ni be and for whoever that feels say Manchester United team na year complete no onya abotre. Let's be honest. Manchester United bono and yet that bad. But all the no the company so far per matches am a Premier League summer series in the yesterday's game and an Manchester United worst performance. Not necessarily because of a draw derby. But when you draw on the free man, the performance of the players on the day. Then performance I'll be to me a young crunch at the film. Aside there no, I've said before say Manchester United Bobo no Ken. I had to say they were talking dada. Time will be a 4 to 4 you know. And then there was another 4 in the Manchester United team. You said the goalkeeping department the problem was and no I tell by and there Ebabeda goal posting for Manchester United. How Manchester United conceded the first goal. Goalkeeper yabo ball. Now we save the ball no or point ball no the two honum. And Conco to Everton player name no one some man on my ball. I don't know Manuel Gatti one can was. And until I make us say I don't know say ball. Me ball and I make us a problem for you who I was coming to talk about the midfield. So na me chance here free the or hoda dano. And now for Ugati the ken say obi ni Mugati and then run or her na. Menya shows obi Ugati di papada. He was the worst player in the Manchester United team. And no mfimfin honom. Eri ogbunamo. Quite almost fast to handle no mfimfin. Ball no ontimi nkita ball ni ye. The distribution was poor. Obi brand no general the man on so no akwa say ball no. Enti ni tokuro and an edam mfimfin honom. Clearly, Manchester United needs somebody. And it looks like say the problem for Manchester United Ken, your supporter limited expectations. At least team no is playing well. There are certain players are almost glimpses of good football. Who players need be one more to be young crunchy womb. And now go now miss in Mount Share, no. A go na a corner. A go a Manchester United supporter. Obe bomb pie so with me who makes Mount I'll get it back to the best of form. Coach and also try so boy Buemo as a force number 9. Man whom Buemo ye in that position. Oh no, I'm not saying he's a bad player. Buemo. And no baby a coach and then a boy, you know, as a force number 9, no. Man whom Buemo ye, it was our position, no. Mostly no person track it back. No babenya boss living so yet a ball. But all in all, I think say it was a good exercise for Manchester United. Barcelona is having a very good exercise in Asia. Yes. Barca supporters need to be problems because they don't feel say I was saying Barcelona bought high profile games. Games are not the games are so. But in preseason, kakra me minimum of football. And they say when you have a lot of players coming in and only a number 1 and a number 2, who need the core of your team? And also with team now performing in the past season. Obe person obenya high profile games. Now they are assessing team very well. No I should ball our team neighbor. Say because season now baba be remno. Ube share team to omo strong, team to omo hard, team to omo stubborn. Omo ni bet me how. It will be here high profile games. Now they are assessing team very well. Now you coach our who they obey. But the Barcelona team we are talking about, a Barcelona team wa. Players bebre amabo boku nim. That is number 1. Number 2, players don't want about Barcelona bobo konim so omo ma meye status, omo baba be backups. Enti Barca woni team wo hono mo dada. So it is just like say ope bibi dey hit up no dey akwa ko season ni mo. Ope games bi keke. Na the new ones are omo ba team ni no, and the academy players no. Wa mo opportunity no mo nso abokaka. Na wiase ni nipa nso hu do mo nso betimi aye for bobo ko no. Aside eno, the previous season Barcelona performed poor. The performance was good. Barcelona won the Spanish La Liga. It's a coach in the team that are on a team that is performing. It will have few exercises just to warm the players up into the new season. And for me, I believe that the kind of exercise that Barcelona and Asia no are good for the team. Gerard Martin, so a Barcelona player. To say Gerard Martin, near more when you set in Barcelona, looking at certain players, I am a beer cologne, and you be no one about a person Tom one corner. Ken, I was always very careful. Now we improve your performance as a player. Last season, time ana Barcelona being here Gerard Martin pa was time Alejandro Balde prior. But about the prior, the minimum you be dance here. Said the left back, I know be here so be feeling into the shoes. No about to the standards and performance of Balde, na Barcelona nyabi. Not even 50% of the performance ana Balde dema and a Gerard Martin dema. There were games he was good, especially here Babe season no. But where Barcelona needed him most, he always fought to deceive. Against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, mistakes are leading to goals. Now if you play a friend, said Gerard Martin. Barcelona, was against Inter Milan. Say you home, say you away against Inter our Champions League. Play a lot of mistakes. Emma Barcelona loses our game. No man to be on the final stage of the competition. Then you play a friend, said Gerard Martin. And upon all these mistakes, beyond mistakes, I had certain qualities to be our possessor. No more another opportunity. Can say we a player, you don't have to relent. I was making sure so working extra hard because I need the Biana Obenani say a bit more performance in the training, but yes, you are some are even proven obi to say Araujo was proving who Barcelona e injury no nyae any poor run of form and buy onum ponam 24% kwoko na wo improve point bia improve ho e Barcelona it's a very good opportunity na wenya omo keep faith in him ono should make sure so be repay that kind of trust and faith with good performance. Ken, there is one player at Arsenal a hammer at the player in this situation, but such is life and football. Player make no want some Gabriel Jesus. It has gotten to that point a highly possible say was a player in free Arsenal bobo. Moving from Manchester City, an experienced player, and our Premier League, Arsenal wanted to build something new with players more experienced, any younger players, because some more competing for the title. And almost yes, or more fat players or more high experience, it will league him to Maba. And a Gabriel Jesus, and so be P. Arsenal bobo. The first season for Arsenal. Oba Bashar 11 goals will league him assisted 6 times. That is last 3 seasons. From there, player why are consistent with games because injuries hano. Obe pra no aye fit no aboba akumienu no assign so pra. And January enonya ACL in an FA Cup game against Manchester United. And there are other players omunso ababa be wuremu omo ba with high expectations. Arsenal the Jokeres aba. Jokeres ni one ma Kai Havertz ho atono. Even enne Mika Marino Krampo yetimi puchi ni man ko number 9. E man man numbers the mass now and last season was clear none the numbers ni good. But for a player like Gabriel Jesus, at a point one of the best players in the English Premier League, a top-notch striker in the Manchester City team, today also finding a way out because we're falling down the pecking order. It is disheartening just because of injuries. Because Abrante and clearly can one chred that say we need quality no nimbo but the plan about sign to a player now sit now bobo unu bi bobo adam fu bi bobo ade ba kwa betimi ya dia tiny cheaper and it's all be bomb pa dia tiny chi no be injury free because there are certain injuries about players abrabo mu a and then the performance any career and the progress can
me that say biggie Edian no but biggie am out man this week na course ne be chance booking course ne be chance na
very important
for trivia
league
no class time ya so na
aka be